Yep, that'd be great. Go ahead.
Just solar update. I was curious in researching this for the regs is that there is actually a lawsuit already filed in Douglas County. Douglas County got sued, and they're in federal court. Got removed to federal court. So I took a look at that just to kind of go to school on those processes here. So it's an interesting case. Points out the fact that their main thrust is twofold. They had a commissioner who was heavily into, what's the term?
Voltaires.
Yeah. I think of a better name than that.
Yeah. Agriculture.
Yeah, just solar agriculture.
Yeah.
You got the idea. And she's basically, they make it sound in the allegations, the claims that she's kind of hijacked the process, turned it into the pet project for us to impose all these best practices from this kind of edgy thing where they grow crops in between them or prairie grasses or grazing or
Actually, even like in Virginia, they run sheep underneath them
instead of mowing, they
use sheep.
No goats.
No goats.
No goats. They jump up on them.
Oh, good. Can't have that. So, that's the complaints that are actually hitting the lawsuit trail are not those necessarily, but a lot of stormwater retention, stormwater drainage, soil getting washed away, and stuff like that. So because some places are leaving bare ground and everything. So that's causing, one of the findings was a nuisance case on that very subject. So, and that's not brought up here, but they also brought up the fact that it doesn't fit with the comprehensive plan. And not just the comprehensive plan, but they got about a half dozen of those area plans and watershed district plans and stuff like that. Kind of complaining about it's not being in accordance with, and the state statute does say that. So it's just to say I've looked at the pleadings and I'm trying to incorporate some of those landmines into the thought process how to keep us out of the danger zone.
Okay. All right, minutes.
I apologize.
No, that's okay.
I'm still working on them.
Okay.
I will get them done today. I'm on the wind moratorium part now, so I've got another 20 minutes, 30 minutes left on that. I also was not able to get so I got these done, and I don't know if you guys need to look at all the old versions, and we can go over that. But I have other resolution stuff for you guys to go over too before that. Do you guys have your old versions by chance? If not, I have this that I've made a note on. And I'm sorry, there were just a lot of there's a lot.
How long of a meeting did you have the other week?
2 hours, 2.5, almost 2.5.
Okay, so I think what would make it easier, I think this is the copy. What would make it easier, if we start on the final amendment piece, let's walk through it. Everybody has a copy of that, right, Dan?
Do you want to go over this first, or do you want to go over the other?
I want to go over this one real quick. So you have the final amendment that she just handed you. So if we start with number 1, we'll work our way down the list.
Okay.
If they're identify if there's a change in it, or did they change something in each one?
From
the original version of what we sent up.
Version 3.
Yeah, I'm not calling it version 3.
So there was some additional, I think you may have that because.
Right, so we looked over this. This is what we sent
more so. This is since the work session. Okay, so I
Okay.
don't know, let me look at what you have.
That one.
Okay. So,
There's some
so
additional.
then we would need copies of that. So what I'm asking is, as we walk through this, if you go,
Yeah.
number one is accepted the way we set it up. Number two, they made changes. Number three, they made changes. We'll,
I'm gonna make copies of this real fast. So,
Go right over here.
you have color copy?
That's not really.
no.
Yeah, I need copies of the old.
Just 3 copies?
I just need one.
Full copies?
I drove by last week. They're already clear. Looks like before it's happened. One of them.
You ready? Okay. With number one, is there a change from what we originally discussed?
No,
Okay. Number two,
no,
or 27, I'm sorry.
27, no,
28,
no,
29,
no.
33,
The additional verbiage in there in the blue.
okay,
This is non-transferable between property owners. The new owner must apply to continue to use. That was added in a clarification on
sure,
special use permits. So that'll also be on, excuse me, that's conditional use, will also be on special use permits. So 33, there was that change.
okay,
40,
yep,
dwelling accessory. They bumped it up to 800 square feet or 75% of the owner occupied principal dwelling square footage. So we had in there originally 30%.
Why the huge jump? What was the reasoning behind that?
I think it was probably just to allow for a little bit larger. I think they were also going with one of the other counties had that 800 square feet or 75%, and they were going off of that. That seemed reasonable.
I mean, if you put if this was like for a back house, right? That's
Yeah.
right,
yeah. And if you put it seems to me that that's getting a little bit huge if you have two structures on there one your original structure and then another structure for mother-in-law or whatever to live in, 75% that size. That seems a little excessive for what we're actually looking at.
I think they were thinking that the 30% was a little too small. If it was like a 1,200 square foot home or a 1,000 square foot home, it's only a 300 square foot space, and that probably wouldn't be big enough. So I think that's why they decided to go with what another county was doing, and it might have been Pot County, but don't take my word for that. They were just using another county's guidance on that. Because they thought 30% was too small.
I mean, I'd be willing to compromise on 50, but I'm 75% to me is a little excessive.
Yeah, talking about building additional. How do you could be a large?
Yeah.
Wait, what about this though? I relate to the similarities of, my kid's house in Texas. They have 2-car garage, then living facilities. How would that be separated? Or would it?
It would be. It would be a garage, a detached garage, and then
Yes.
are you, on the appraisal side, that would be what's considered a
Non-residential.
guest house or
Yeah.
cottage house or whatever that code is for appraisal purposes, and then it would be a 152 or a detached garage.
Okay.
So it would be under the main dwelling as far as an improvement of the main dwelling. They would be separate.
I don't care if we make it 75%, as long as there's a maximum.
I think it was 800 is the max.
Right.
Or 75%, whichever is less, it says in there.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Does that make a difference with you, Mark? Maximum that says 800 square foot, which is.
Okay, well.
I think it was
So
that
whichever
was,
is less, okay,
yeah.
yeah.
So
I'll
like
do
that.
that.
I get that.
smaller
So if you-
properties, yeah.
Yeah, if you've got a 1,000 square foot home, you wanna move mom in or sister or whatever because of whatever.
750 square feet.
I'm fine with that. Everybody good?
Yeah.
Okay. 116.
116, just that additional verbiage in there about it being non-transferable
Non-transferable.
between
Yeah.
property owners.
Okay.
That was added in.
Okay. 127.
127, I think that the original was a little confusing. So it was recommended that such structure shall not be used as a permanent dwelling after the end of the permitted period or after the end of the construction period, whichever occurs first, unless a renewal of the permit is approved by the county commission. So there was some concern that we would require somebody that was living in a camper or RV, that they would have to remove that camper or RV off the property when they were done with the construction period. And that would clarify that it doesn't have to be removed, it just cannot be
Utilize.
a permanent, yeah.
Go
So
ahead.
that was added in on Thursday. Okay.
Any discussion?
Yeah.
Section 3, number 9.
Number 9, there were no changes on that.
17.
17, we added in this is non-transferable between, so all of those that have that special use permit will have that sentence in there, 2 sentences, that this is non-transferable between property owners. A new owner must apply to continue the use. That was the change on that one.
Any discussion? That's kind of been typical, I mean, on special use.
I
Always
wanted that
done.
in there because I wanted that to be clear.
Yep.
It's been an issue.
Okay. Section 311.
Section 4, the intensity of use was removed out of there.
Okay, that's
That was the 20 acre, 3 acre discussion.
that's not on this.
Yeah, they didn't want to include that this
Okay.
morning, so that is not in this one.
So what was the discussion on that?
There were some members of the audience that were landowners that would like maybe the discussion of 10 acres being that, but the majority, I think, that were there that were discussing that wanted to keep it the 20 acres. Just for the agricultural purposes of not making a lot of smaller parcels where it would make it more difficult in the end to farm larger acreage, like getting the smaller acres back to be able to farm large amounts. Is that, I don't know if I'm.
Doesn't seem to make sense to me, because if it belongs to the individual and they wanna sell 3 acres to somebody, they should have the right to sell that 3 acres, because at this point, that can be done, but it's gotta be rezoned.
So there was also the discussion of if people are wanting to purchase 3 acres and there is a 40-acre parcel, that if that parcel can be split, that 3 acres can be divided off, and that would not require rezoning, that would just be a natural process of it. So that was discussed too. And then the rezoning possibility, and that would allow the public to come in and discuss.
Was there ever any discussion by the planning board about, I had suggested maybe we make a radius around the cities and say X number of either feet or miles around the city, then we could do the 3 mile. I get it, to a certain extent. And a landowner has, I believe, the right to do with their land as they see fit to a certain extent, but it appears that, we can go right across the county line to Shawnee County, and they're building like crazy down there. And all we hear is property taxes, you gotta do something about this. New homes are property tax. And if we can simplify that process, less government interference, to encourage people to build brand new homes in this county, that generates more revenue. And so I said, one of the solutions then, if they don't like just generally doing this, maybe we do a 3 mile radius around the incorporated cities and say, okay, inside that, you can have the authority to do that. That type of thing. Was there any discussion like that? Any discussions to simplify the process? Because the south end of this county is people who work in Topeka, want to live in Jackson County, but they don't want to own and maintain 20 acres.
There wasn't a discussion on solution for that. During the work session, I think there was a discussion about the concern about getting too close to the city and then landlocking parcels. I wasn't quite understanding that. We do have something in place that if it's around the city and people are wanting to, if we have a situation, land purchase just south of Banner, that they can't have more than a home on it. So I reached out to the city of Holton and encouraged them to reach out to the city of Holton to do possible annexation into the city for a subdivision or to develop it further. So there wasn't a solution brought to the table on that.
Well, one of the things that kind of puzzles me is from people that we've heard from in meetings here, one of the things that they were against on the 3 acres, they want to keep it rural. They want to keep it, an agricultural, blah, 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 which okay, that's fine and dandy. By doing this, cutting it down to 3 acres, they would not have to rezone it. It would still be A1, correct?
Correct.
So if they do like was suggested at the meetings, and we'll just make it a rural, rural civic center, whatever it is, the RDI or whatever it is. If they do that, then it would have to be rezoned, and it would not be A1 anymore. And they could, if somebody wanted to keep a bucket calf or a steer or whatever on their 3 acres, they couldn't legally do it then because it's no longer A1, so they're taking away the agricultural part of it,
Yeah.
correct?
It would have to be a special use within that district to do that.
So that, like I say, that just doesn't compute in my mind. They wanna keep it agricultural, but they don't wanna keep it agricultural. It just doesn't make any sense to me. See what I'm saying? I don't follow that thinking, but.
Okay. We'll come back to number 4, at some point. We'll, go from there.
Okay, so
Section 311.
that one, we're on Article 8. Is that right?
Yes.
Just that sentence, this is non-transferable between property owners. A new owner must apply to continue use was added on that one.
And all these changes were agreed upon by all board members, or was this openly debated? How did these come about? The changes that they made, were there changes that they made at the zoning board?
On Thursday, or the
Yes.
work session?
The work session.
Yes, I mean, which parts? 127, definition 127, that was adjusted on Thursday,
Okay,
okay?
okay.
Um,
That answers my question.
the section, the Article 7, Section 4, was it Section 4? The 23,
Yeah.
that was discussed at the work session and then discussed on
Thursday
Thursday.
night. Okay.
So,
Okay. That answers my question. You guys have anything on 15?
Nope.
I'm gonna check something really fast, just to make sure I've got that all in there. Okay. 15, Section 3, number 4. The sentences in there. This is non-transferable between property owners. A new owner must apply to continue use.
Nope.
Article 16, Section 3, number 4.
Yep.
Same sentences. This
Yep.
is non-transferable between property owners. A new owner must apply to continue use. Can I just, because the next several articles have that same, that was the only change in those.
Okay.
Just Article 25, it says, different, isn't it? Other than the transferable.
Okay. So number 15. Article 14.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, Jim.
Did you find something?
No, I was just saying, I thought they were all the transferable statements on all these except for until you get to 25.
Article 25. So you were.
Yeah.
Let's go back to, can we go back to Article 14?
Okay.
That's R1. I don't know if the original, what you guys had, after planning commission, it says and under. We took out under and replaced it with subject to. I don't know if that was in your very original one, but that got changed to subject to.
Where it says in parentheses that was taken out, Board of Zoning Appeals, is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, and the original that I've got here, we had taken out under and put subject to such conditions as the county commission may impose, so, yeah, that was in the original one you gave us.
Yeah.
Okay, so what, Article 18, 20, 21, And there is an issue with this one, as I'm reading it, this can be addressed with another amendment at some point. They added county to identify county public right of way versus just an open public right of way. And decided to leave it Board of Zoning Appeals. I see in here that it says as a special use, that should be as a variance and not a special use. That will be a fix later, I guess.
Say that again.
It will be a fix for later, an amendment later.
Like next month, and, yeah.
Okay. Just correct it then.
Anything else on that?
No.
Article 29. That's where we just took out the 30% and added the 800 square feet or 75% of the owner occupied. Principal dwelling square footage, whichever is less. And then total living area of principal dwelling.
Okay. Next. Okay.
So all were in favor of making, the changes, with the additional language in definition 1.7. And with the exception of Article 7, Section 4, intensity of use is to be taken out.
All right, the wind moratorium, get that.
So the wind moratorium was, discussed, and Steve Willett made recommendation of adding,
Okay, but was it voted on by itself?
yes,
By itself, as it stood?
no,
Okay.
What did Mr. Willett make a motion for?
to include solar in 3 portions of that moratorium.
Mr. Willett does not have the authority to do that, number one, because it was not published in the paper, and there was no chance for public comment. So, it's a moot.
I'll lean to you for what it is.
Was there a resolution that was passed?
That's correct. We passed a resolution to go to them for wind moratorium to be voted on.
And they altered the resolution?
That's correct.
Okay.
Which they don't have the authority to do.
Yeah, and I think what you would do here is, basically on the record reject that amended resolution and return it to the planning commission to approve the wind only aspects, unaltered.
Okay.
And then it goes back when they have to.
Then I will make a motion to reject the, planning commission's, the resolution that they sent to us that included solar on the wind moratorium. How's that? Okay.
Is there a second?
I second.
So moved and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. So that'll go back to them in its original form to be voted on as is.
tire shop.
Yes.
Need a number.
Oh, okay. Very well.
Did you need to see that survey? Same label on that. This is the other zoning change you're understanding.
From A1 to B3.
You have that problem with it?
No. I did have a question,
Okay.
though, about, zoning districts and parent zoning districts. 'Cause it's not very clear how I am to deal with, like, the remainder. Okay, so this 33 acres was split off of a 92 acre parcel. And that original parent parcel could only have 2 additional splits, so 3 parcels total out of that. So, in the meeting, they indicated that that 10 acre parcel, so they had the 33 acres split off. They indicated that the 10 acre parcel, the survey was required to establish that zoning district. They indicated that they were going to deed that to the partnership as a separate parcel, which that would create an additional parcel out of the parent parcel. So creating possibly 4 parcels out of what, so is it, so when it becomes, a different zoning district, is that okay? Can we still look at the parent parcel as 3 parcels can be created out of that?
Meaning can the change in that sub-parcel
Is it
be now?
taken out of the equation, essentially?
Trying to, so the sub 33 acres now, you're saying is it guided now by the B1?
Is
So
it
that-
guided, is it
so because of
restricted
the-
by the A1?
Okay, as far as subdividing it, is that, not that the use is problematic, it's just that,
Can it be split again? Because the 33 acres technically cannot be split again. If in that transaction between buyer and seller, they had a legal description for the 10 acres and they had a legal description for the remainder 23, that would mean that the 66 that they had left over would not be able to be split again, which would restrict them as the original landowners. Or are we looking at it as in this 33 acres can be split off for a new zoning district?
I think my gut reaction is that if you change the zoning district designation of the area, that the further parceling out of that is subject to those rules and changes, so it's now B1. And it can be further subdivided regardless of the parent thing. I don't think that,
Okay.
I think once if you kept it as a special use permit, or I don't know how you would do that.
Anything A1.
Yeah, you said, if it was A1, and they said, well, we're gonna do this, and we'll do this special use permit, then they're still A1. As soon as you change it to B2, they're,
So they're good.
I think so.
Okay. That was my question.
Alright, so I entertain a motion to approve resolution that you have now.
I'll make that motion to approve resolution 2024-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve, resolution that Dan read. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Yeah. There. And
Yep. The core request by Richard Smith, did you respond to him?
I responded with the standard for looking at it.
There's a big thing to respond.
Well, I thought that, I was gonna get whatever that was, website printout, because somebody had something that day.
Yeah, all it was information from, the company who sells GPS units,
Yeah.
and it was preliminary.
And I think it's just like, give them something rather than, because that was fair game. So that's what I thought Scott had provided, so. I can remind him.
So, I guess what I'm trying to understand is, so, an employee at, Household Hazardous Waste, anytime a management decision is made, he or she can request a floral request on every document that a management decision was made.
I'm differentiating in the fact that he came here and it was placed in front of y'all.
As information.
Yeah, as information.
Okay.
As opposed to, if he said, find me a GPS system, somebody there, and they just gave it to them. I mean, the question probably would be different in my mind about what it is, because you aren't contemplating, at that point anything, you guys don't know.
That's informational only.
But I think I'm separating out the fact that what came across to you guys, it's got put on the table here. And I think that's, anytime you guys look at something, it's fair game. Unless it's, closed session or it's otherwise confidential.
I will say, I do agree with what you're saying there, but with what he was asking for, the purchase price and when we decided to buy it and this, that, and the other thing, we did nothing like that.
Well, I'm not saying in the responses, this is all that was presented. And no further action was taken would be the answer, basically.
And if action was taken, would the request, if he wants an answer on what was taken, refer to the minutes of the meeting?
Yeah, and just say there's no other action was taken, you don't have to provide something that didn't happen, or.
Correct, or it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So,
Create a document that
so
doesn't.
do we have that document, and have we sent that to him?
No. That's what I was
Do
thinking.
you need action from us to get that for you, or you're gonna contact Scott?
I'll just, I think I got Scott's stuff, so I'll remind you.
Alright, I'll take that off.
We're not on any timeline on that, so.
Okay.
You had 3 days to respond, saying you would respond, I believe, working days, so that's all we've done.
That's,
Yeah. Okay.
Did you?
I have something.
Okay.
So, while I was away at training, Carolyn with Black Mountain had reached out, wanting to know about battery energy storage systems
We don't
in
sell
our
them.
county.
We don't sell them.
We don't have any.
Wanted to know if we had something in our regulations and what zoning district they would be allowed in,
oh, boy.
okay?
I don't think those are allowed anywhere.
We have none, I
We
believe
have
in the
none.
regulations that
We
we're
don't
working
allow
on,
storage.
the best system will not be allowed.
And then last week, Chris Poole with SMT Energy wanted to know about utility scale battery energy storage systems as well.
Same answer, we don't have them, we won't allow them.
It's likely that those would be prohibited in new solar regulations, because those are what those are the ones that create noise.
That, they were referring to the Westar Evergy, on 246, I think it's 246, their area up there, that they wanted to that's where they're proposing that one to go with SMT.
Oh,
So I just wanted you all to be aware that have been two now within the last couple weeks that are interested.
do you, oh, sorry, are those vendors?
Huh?
Are those vendors energy, renewable energy vendors? Okay.
And you'll respond back to them? Thank you.
I have.
Okay. You have, you knew what we do, you knew what we thought.
They said they're not currently in the regulations.
And,
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you. What else?
Anything
Yes.
else for me?
Nothing.
I'll see you a little later.
Okay. What do you got, Todd?
Is this just a sample?
Yeah, it's just a
Oh, that's not cool. Oh, I got it. It's pretty funny. I don't have anything else, I don't think, right now. Was somebody supposed to come down here and ask questions? That's
John,
Scott, John, what?
give me a text, you see if he's on his way or?
So, I do have a question about any board member, zoning and planning, going off on their own and basically hijacking a meeting and doing these types of things, without public notice. My concern is that the violation that this board member did, and by the board itself acting on that without proper notice to the public, is a liability.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure, because you're right in the sense that how any zoning change, I mean, the moratorium is a zoning decision, right? And that, it's, I was looking before, yesterday about the Zimmerman case, which is the kind of bellwether case for moratorium on wind.
Well, not,
That's county.
yeah, I'm not concerned about, I'm saying any going off script or what's on there to be voted on
Yeah.
in any sense of the form without giving proper public notice, to me, it's a huge violation. I mean, can you imagine had one board member on that board spoke for a long lengthy period of time about something that was not scheduled on the agenda, and it had been for solar, as opposed to against it, or for wind energy, as opposed to against it, it would have brought the roof down. And those people in this community, need to know that there's a board member that did this, and I mean, you wanna talk about violating the public trust by trying to sneak something through without giving public interest. I mean, every citizen in this community should be upset at that.
Yep.
And I'm
Every
separating,
citizen.
and I'm separating out what that as a policy issue is as a legal issue. I'm approaching it from the other direction.
Okay.
Right, that what they did, how does that fold into what you guys do, and how does that violate a law so that somebody,
Right.
treats it from the outside that they're gonna litigate something against you guys. The concept you're talking about, which is exactly true, which is that what they're set up to do
Mm-hmm.
is make changes to the zoning based upon different formats. People coming to them saying, I have a piece of property, I want that changed, that's how
Correct.
it changed. Second thing is maybe people come to you guys or to them and say, this whole thing, this whole county needs to change this, and this needs, all this stuff needs to change generally. Those are the two things that they do, and those get filtered back and forth between the two
That's correct.
entities, and unless you guys have that format set up that way, and understanding that everything they do legislatively, either individual change is being noticed to other landowners who surround them, who have a right to say, you can't build a cement plant on your avoid ulterior instances that it goes through somehow and somebody doesn't catch it and you get sued.
Correct.
And that's that's where these third party suits, that's what Douglas County's finding out, is that they let somebody go a little bit off script, and then that just gave ammo to the guys who wanna gun it.
Correct.
And either side. So you follow the rules scrupulously at both levels to get the result that can stand up and can actually be followed.
Absolutely.
Well, this is more than going off script.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah,
I mean, this is a blatant violation with him doing this, with him making the motion, and you know, in my opinion, the chair should have just shut it down right then, but he didn't do it, he let it go through. But it's a blatant violation of the public trust because, as he said, nobody had the opportunity to speak on this. And if it went through and we said, oh, what the heck, let's let it go, then we're in violation too. Now, luckily we didn't do it, but this gentleman came prepared with his whole script and his whole file of why I don't want solar, and threw that in there, and it should have never gone that far, and he should have never been allowed to do it. And I want to know what we can do right now to handle the situation.
And my concern is, what will be next? What will this individual want to do next? And could it be something, you know, whatever it is, to go off script and to just come up with his own decisions, will continue to put the county at risk of being sued.
yeah, and
I mean, not only being sued, it doesn't matter being sued. It should upset every citizen in this community that someone would try to sneak something through.
yeah.
And whether you're for or against something, it should upset you that someone would actually do that. Because it's not okay to sneak something through if it's what you want.
And you complain it to somebody else.
That's correct.
Yeah.
You're
I
right.
mean, I don't know how else to put it.
Yeah, I think that's correct in the sense that, you know,
And so-
again, I'm looking at it like, well, what's the end result in just a legal sense, and that's fine and dandy, that's all good, but, you know, the first stage is, what are the statutes aiming at? What are you guys wanting to have done? You're wanting regulations that have been looked at and been provided to everybody, that everybody has a good chance to say what they need to say.
Absolutely.
Have input, and once that, and several opportunities to do that at different levels.
Absolutely.
And then, at that point, you've got somebody where, a position where it's passed and people have bought in and had their shot, and it can be accepted as a legislative solution that has been the public back.
Right.
In this short circuit thing. It takes it out of that process because of an agenda. And
Well, and I guess people ought to understand too that this whole solar process started 2 years ago. 2 years ago this month. At the meeting across the hall back in September of 22. Yeah. And they were clamoring for a moratorium then, and the company that was presenting, and I was sitting in the audience over there, I wasn't a commissioner yet, the company that was presenting said that they would withhold asking for any application or presenting an application for 18 months. Well, the 18 months is come and gone, and it's been 2 years, the moratorium they wanted then. So now to try, well, we're working on regulations because this board has been accused of you're rushing into it, you're rushing into it. We're 2 years into the process. We're not rushing into anything. And for Mr. Willett to try to slip this in right now is just a blatant violation. And I personally, I want to see what we can do to remove him from the board because I don't trust him.
I would agree.
I do not trust him whatsoever.
Yeah, I would
And
agree.
we appointed him to the board. How could we remove him from the board?
Okay, I'm gonna have to look at that correctly, make sure we do the process right.
Yep.
I'm understanding, he's not elected, right?
That's
Nope.
correct.
He's appointed by us.
He's an appointed officer of the county,
Correct.
to that board. I'll need to take a look at that. I'm pretty sure there's a method short of having some great, legal to do, that I think it's within your authority. I just wanna make sure we track every
Yep,
step.
I want the i's dotted and the t's crossed.
Exactly, I said it earlier, we have to follow the letter of the law. Like it or not.
So I think that's, all the reaction's fair, and,
Okay.
and it's gotta be an understanding that everybody's gonna have a chance. Opponents are gonna have a chance, and the opponents.
Because I would imagine those who are proponents, when they read this article in the Holton Recorder and find out, I'm gonna just envision that they're probably gonna be a little upset that they weren't given due notice to come and say, hey, I object. I mean, that's what this body is supposed to allow the community to do, right?
Yeah, instead of them jumping in 18 months, 2 years ago, and just saying, we're gonna get what we want, and we're gonna fight you right now.
Right.
And you guys are under that pressure of a, big business saying we can grind you, so that's not fair.
No.
No,
All right.
Two quick questions on
yeah.
that. Do you know what the vote was when it went? I mean,
yes, it was 3-2.
okay, so
And
the
I
split
spoke to one
vote.
board member who said he voted yes on it for the simple reason he wanted it to come before Todd.
The other question, the original thing, the wind moratorium, is that just a renewal? Cause don't you guys already have that?
It's never been passed gone through the zoning and planning. We created the document saying we were gonna ban it for 5 years, I think is what the resolution says.
It just, okay.
It needed to go to them.
It needed to go to that. Okay, so they never, okay.
And the problem is that when it's on, if that's what's on the agenda, no one,
Right, yeah.
no one has no to show up.
Yeah. So,
You guys would
okay.
approved it here today.
But you guys
we
have
would've.
discussed that wind thing a while back, right?
Months ago.
It just hadn't been,
I
okay.
think it was January,
It was a long
February.
time ago, so okay, I just thought, I thought that was already passed, but apparently it hadn't gone to them yet. Okay, cool. And how long is the wind, or you got it? Okay, we're all good, that's all I'm, just making sure I was clear.
Okay, so you'll do some research on that
Thank you.
and get back with us.
You bet.
And Jonathan said he's on his way in now. I think he was originally said 11:30, so.
You got it?
Oh, we just, yeah.
Yeah, David said he wanted to do a story on the Birmingham.
Yeah, and you also have your election thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's due Friday or whenever.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Whenever you got time.
This one.
So,
Okay.
I know, no worries.
But,
Yeah.
yeah, the Birmingham
Yes.
story.
Yes.
So I could,
my thought process on the whole landfill, what they do is they bring their bag of money in just like Kurt does. But they go down to there and it's counted and they all agree and sign a sheet of paper. If you bring it in, you count it, you agree, sign a piece of paper, and it's left in the hands of an individual and then it's brought up here. My thought is, let's eliminate that process.
Yeah.
Any information that they need for their records can just be emailed to them. I think the individual who brings that in, when he does, just brings it straight to the treasurer. The treasurer counts it, verifies it, and it goes in, and it just eliminates any additional thing. There's always, when you include more humans, could be possibility
Oh,
of
yeah.
mistakes.
Yeah.
So, you okay with that?
I'm perfectly fine with that. I think that's the way, I didn't realize it wasn't being done that way anyway.
Yeah, and so I just, I think it'd be a good.
I think it's a smart thing to do.
What made me think of it is, Kurt the other day came in and carrying that bag, and I thought, well, why does he do it that way? Why not?
Yeah, everybody ought to do it all the same. Each department that has something like
So I'm
that needs to be
assuming
the same.
Tara out at Road and Bridge Christie, people may bring deposits in, or do they always, and so she would do the same thing, just bring them straight to the courthouse, correct?
Yeah.
Anything that you see that I'm missing there's a reason why we shouldn't do it that way?
No, I think that makes things a lot simpler.
I do too.
I think it'd make it a lot simpler.
I do too. Okay. We'll just inform Scott that's the way it's gonna be, that we've made that decision.
They want meals on
Any,
the.
so, basically, let me find it. She said she talked to a lady, didn't give a name. Maybe Meals on Wheels in Topeka, Shawnee County. They said to call the tribe, which makes no sense whatsoever. So, this was last Friday. I reached back out to the guy, she called me. I sent her Amanda's Spalding contact information, name, all those things. And I think she reached out to her, but then sent me another email.
What we are doing with the towns outside, volunteers are picking them up and delivering to that town, such as Denison. We don't.
And Amanda's familiar with this?
She set it up. She's working, yeah. Yeah, because Denison.
I'm gonna call Amanda,
Okay.
because I'm confused why she didn't tell Amanda, or why Amanda didn't tell this lady they just need to organize some.
Yeah, volunteers, sure. Yeah, we're doing it in Denison. I'm pretty sure like 10 meals per day from somewhere in that neighborhood. Or they can order more meals and then, last for however long. I don't know. I don't know the conversation, but it was being done that way, I should say.
She said, I did call the place, I told her to,
Yeah.
and they don't serve residents outside the Holton city limits.
That's correct.
They mentioned a family member could come pick it up,
Yes.
but you said they had volunteers?
Someone from Denison is a volunteer.
Only
Picks up
Denison,
the
this
meals,
isn't-
the food, the meals, and they deliver. Yes, and that's open to do that. I would say, 10 meals a day going to Denison, roughly. I
I thought it was more than that.
It might be now.
But that isn't, you haven't organized any, or she hasn't organized any volunteers from the Mayhead area.
Not to my knowledge.
I don't think she organized this volunteer, I think this person just
Yeah.
volunteered on their own. I don't think Amanda was involved.
Yeah.
I
Kate Immenschuh said,
misunderstood, I thought he was.
Yeah. Can I pick up meals and. That's been done.
Hey, good morning, Amanda. How are you? This is Keith Kelly. I'm good. Hey, did you receive a phone call from Cheyenne Jackson last week? From the Mayhead area, has a relative in Mayhead. She said she reached out to you and said that she talked to you? I gave her your name and your phone number, but apparently, so she has a resident, a relative that resides in Mayetta. If I give you her phone number, do you want to reach out to her?
That's it. That's it? Okay. Good.
Or, yeah, if they could, just come up to Hope and pick up the meals, or if there's some volunteers in the Mayetta area that would wanna do that. Actually, let me see, hang on just a second, let me see if I can find her number, because it's not on her email.
Christie, the English folk want me to sign an affidavit and send it to them. I did it on Facebook signing it.
$1
Yeah, yeah.
We'll take it.
U.S. or Zimbabwe?
Thank you.
Nothing that I can think of.
Okay.
Yeah, offhand.
Should we ask her if she has an opinion about house delivery?
That was a discussion earlier in the life.
PBR.
If you
It's
want
a
a
long
headache,
story.
if you want a headache,
Yeah.
We were actually talking about
never got a
both
headache in my life,
bullfighting.
come on now.
I think there is one thing that we need to get a document verification that, one contract's not going to be renewed for next year. So we make sure that we're within a certain time frame.
when December.
December first.
Yeah, oh, is that when we're going to notify that individual?
Sooner
Okay.
the better.
I think,
Agreed.
I think that
That's
would
what they
be,
took out.
that would be good to know if that's what your office would seek to do.
Yes, that's the plan.
Okay?
Kind of hard,
Yeah, tentatively.
Yeah.
so I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
We're just wanting to protect the county.
Yeah, so,
Absolutely, yes.
yeah, we'll go ahead and draft that document today, and then that way it can be sent out. Todd, do you think it's best, since that this individual is hired under contract by, the attorney's office upstairs, the document come from them, not seeking their renewal of their contract for the 2025 year? Okay. So do you wanna,
Yeah, if you have a specific form, that'd be great,
You mean a form of a new contract? Or?
no,
In form of
to not
cancellation.
need
To
to,
not renew
To not
the
renew.
existing contract.
No, I think there isn't a form, you just, somebody indicated that they don't want that.
So they could
It's
create
on a
their own.
renewal, is there a renewal term in the contract?
Yeah, it has to be, I believe, written notice within.
Oh, okay, I didn't catch that part.
yeah, do you wanna see the
Yeah, let me
contract?
see it, and then I'll create the notice from that.
Yeah, if you wanna email that to Todd.
I have the old one from the previous year, I don't know about 2024. You can probably find it, I just haven't,
I think,
you don't have one?
I don't have one in my office, and
Or
maybe I
yes.
think that's the latest one.
Because I've seen the 2023 one, I just haven't seen the 2024 one. But I assume there's somewhere. So we'll look for that, try to get it to you.
well, it may have just, I mean, if that's what
Maybe
we
it's
did,
an auto renewal.
we may have just let it renew for the 24 year under the same contract.
Also, I saw something in the minute.
Yeah,
from
we'll see.
last week,
Mine
that
gets
said
solved, but I don't
something
know
about,
if
I
we
don't
are.
know if
We'll
that
see.
increased the contract, what did that?
I'm doing
increase
magic
the
to put
pay or
different
increase
words.
the
Well, it's gonna
position or what?
be
We were
It says
required
non-
by the state of Kansas to increase that. I'll let Christie, because their office got the notice.
I started with the latest.
Christie, she's wanting to know why we had to increase Kevin Hill's, income.
Oh, you had to increase the income, okay.
Yeah.
That's what we were wondering, and I was like.
Right there. That was January 23, I think it came to us.
Yeah.
And this is a song.
That's the contract.
In reference to paper.
Allowed me to take.
Nothing beats, they had the coals.
That was a point of contention.
If you look at these acting guys.
So,
So I'll let you keep this, I'll look, maybe it should just be a written thing rather than, we may not have one signed.
I think it is a written, because if I remember correctly, we have so many days we have to notify
Yes,
them.
I read the 2023.
right, but what we're
Yeah.
saying is it auto renewed from 23.
Like there's not 2024
Yeah, and
signed
we
one,
could go
yeah,
on
I
and
think
do
unless they
No,
say
that's
that
it.
30 days or whatever it is prior to that. I'll send you this in
It's the only thing that keep you warm when it's cold. People
You
don't.
wanna send that to Todd?
Oh, yeah.
Or your, or just your email. Yeah.
Jonathan, if you wanna come on up. Thank you for taking time to come up here today.
Or to,
I can have Mary give you some.
Hey, no, buddy.
Sorry, I had an 11 o'clock other commitment, but we made it make it at that time, so that's fine.
All right,
All
very
right,
good.
I'll send that to you.
All right, good deal. Thanks for coming down.
Absolutely, let me know if you need anything.
Thank you.
See ya.
Thanks, Judge. Okay. So I think Jonathan, just diving right off the into the deep edge, there was, extended conversation about, a topic that was not on the agenda, there was not proper notice given to the public to speak on it. So walk us through why that wasn't stopped immediately and, brought back to, okay, that's not on the agenda, we haven't given proper notice, therefore, this is the only thing that can be voted on tonight.
Right, and in hindsight, obviously, I should have,
Okay.
I think I should have done that. I was not, but to part of, another side point to your question.
Sure.
Is, and this is probably directed to council, because of your knowledge and expertise. I looked over our planning commission bylaws, and the question has arisen, internally, whether the chair has any, power to, once a motion has been made, to, override that motion or any.
Rule it out of order.
Yeah, rule it out of order, anything like that. There's
Sure.
nothing in the bylaws that give of the planning commission that give the chair that authority, which would have helped, among other things.
Right, but as chair, you're running the meeting, and so therefore, I'm gonna use this board as an example. If Dan makes a motion, and there's no second, it's my responsibility to acknowledge that it dies for lack of a second.
Exactly.
If he makes a motion, or he makes a motion, and there, so you get, if they make a motion, I think a good example,
Would be outside their authority and power.
yeah, outside their authority or
Say that
power.
the city of Holton, you move that the city of Holton should reduce their ad valorem tax rate
Right.
to 0.
Yeah. So basically, it's your responsibility and you have the full authority. If what you have before you on your agenda, and that is that things that have been brought before your board, and if someone on your board, any individual on your board, begins to go off in a different direction, it's your responsibility and authority to stop that individual and bring them back to the business at hand. You get to run the meeting. And so, and if they don't like that, that's okay too. That's why we have chairs. So that we have orderly meetings, and especially in this case, this creates a huge liability for the county because public notice wasn't given, proper public notice was not given to something that was not on the agenda. And so.
And something like that is not something that he can ask to add to the agenda at the beginning of the meeting. Simply because no public notice would have been given.
Correct.
So, yeah. So that, I mean, this disruptive force is really not a good thing. All the way around.
And you have, again,
Yeah.
you have full authority to stop that conversation and go, no, I'm not doing that. I mean, it's no different than in the revenue neutral meeting that we had over here. We had an individual that walked in, we were taking comments or questions about specific items. But when that individual decided to turn to the public and make an announcement, I stopped it, said we're not here to do that. You don't get to do that. You can ask this board a question. You're not here to give information about anything. You're here to ask us a question. So that, I guess, is an example also.
Right, related specifically to the item, only the item
That's
on the
correct.
agenda and only the item that is being discussed at that moment.
Correct.
There could be another topic later on, but.
Yeah, go ahead.
Here's, bylaws are fine. I think the guidance you probably want to look at really hard is the comprehensive plan. And page 7 starts the role of the planning commission, and it has like 4 items, and then the role of the county commission is next. And those are, I think, based upon the reference state statute, which is our kind of our guiding star here about what the process is for doing kind of one of two main things, which is individual zoning change requests, and then broad-based, policy level changes over the whole code, or the whole zoning code. And those are basically things that all start, either review, go to here, or start here, go back to you, review, go, report back to them. So there isn't a methodology necessarily where, and I think the process would normally be that if you have something that's been noticed for a change and presented in that format by, putting things extra on it, imperils that notice of the process, and the statutes imperils, individuals' right to have something changed, because they deserve to have their individual change without having it added on to with other stuff. So, I think that's, having that in mind in the first instance is your guidepost. So because what you're doing is really you're either fact-finding for these guys, or you're presenting a resolution for these guys for their approval.
Yeah, and I like what you said, the fact finding. So I'm gonna refer back to the 3 acre thing. Maybe while you're on that subject, say, okay, do you have suggestions as a board, suggestions that we can write down and send back to that board, how your board sees that maybe this could work, or maybe there are no suggestions. Does it require a 3 mile radius? Could it be a 3 mile radius, 2 mile radius, 1 mile radius of all incorporated cities? Are there ways to incorporate this in? Again, we're not just bringing this up because one day we were sitting here and we had nothing else to do. We've had multiple contractors and residents come in and ask us, or call us, or email us and say, can you please make the regulations simpler so we can build a house? And when we asked them about, well, you can buy 20 acres. They said, I don't want to mow and maintain 20 acres. I want my house, and I want 3 acres. Maybe that requires, okay, I heard a comment from a resident that said, well, you'll end up with all these junky little houses. Okay, maybe that conversation involves putting certain square footages, certain, whatever that may be. But to me, those are good conversations for your board to bounce off of each other and talk about and research and say, maybe there is a way we can do this to simplify the process of building a home. Because, I mean, not every individual that moves into Jackson County wants to own and maintain 20 acres. So, that's some of the guidance that you can sure give that group and say, look, here, we're talking about this. Let's send them back some thoughts. Gentlemen?
Yep, I think that'd be a good thing to bring out that conversation, rather than just hearing no, that we don't want to do this. Okay, then how can we make something like this work?
And not only from that board, but you have the public there, because you've served notice, they're there to talk about that specific thing, right? And so getting input from the public there, okay, what would work for you? Do you think that there are ways that this can work? To me, that's what it's supposed to do. We make a suggestion, it goes to your board looks at it, you make suggestions, tweaks, to me, just saying no means we're not gonna put any thought into it. We just say no. I mean, it should be a conversation back and forth until we can come to some sort of agreement, and maybe it never will, but, to just say no, and again, you go right across the county line, and they're building like crazy and doing a great job of it, and we heard over here across the hall that figure out a way to generate tax revenue without taxing the people who are already own property more. Well, building brand new homes, those are permanent tax dollars and could potentially lower everybody's taxes the more that we have. And I'll say this, and I've said it before, the southern third of the county has school districts that can take more kids and plenty of water. and you're 15 minutes out of Topeka. But when we come up with suggestions, it's just, no, don't want to do that. Okay, tell me what you do want to do, you know?
Is your agenda a consent agenda?
No, we don't have, at least not in at least not in my familiarity with that
Okay.
term. No, we go through every
Okay.
item.
Yeah,
There's no, okay, here's a block of documents, and
Sure.
it's all part of that consent agenda.
Or that agenda, yeah.
Right.
Well, you were talking about adding on possibly reference previously, right?
That's what I said, yeah.
Okay, you said it. A consent agenda, that would be a consent agenda that you would look at, but you'd also, prior to that, I asked for approval of the consent agenda, and that's when they say,
Well,
I want to add this. I mean, you don't want to be there all night, having 10, 15, 20 things, but it's the same similar role to a consent agenda.
Right, and depending on what the topic is.
Yes, yeah.
Even though there may be broad ability to add things to the
Right.
consent agenda, there may be, community reasons or other reasons that,
Yeah.
this needs more public discussion.
Sure.
That
Yeah, there you go.
That we can talk about it tonight, but
Yeah.
let's not vote on that one item.
Yeah,
until we
and here's kind of how to put that thing, because people may pose a situation where they say, well, I mean, commissioners can submit their own resolutions, or the board members can submit their own resolutions, and there really isn't a rule that says they can't. Yeah, but understanding the fact that there's legal requirements that if you do something that is not properly noticed, that it comes here, that the answer is going to be that I'm going to tell them, you cannot pass this, because it has not been properly noticed.
they're not a governing body that can create a resolution.
Well, yeah, and I'm saying that's why, there isn't a rule that says something, but you have to understand your role in the process is not to propose things that are not properly done, and you guys are the body that proposes things, and we're in a process, so we can't have somebody just saying, well, it's a simple statement that says, well, I can do this, I can present this. Well, yeah, you can, but it's gonna get shot down, it's not gonna work. You're wasting the public's time and effort on something that needs to go through the process properly in the first instance. And that's not that's why you've got to do it from the start with the idea, what's the rule, what's the statute, what's the process, not just shooting from the hip. And that's what we got. We got a shot from the hip that wasn't right.
Yeah.
And
Anything else?
No, I didn't have anything. Did you have?
John,
Did you have
any
any
other thoughts or anything, questions of
I
us?
will, I'm going to go see Kate, to get things,
Okay.
noticed.
Okay.
For the October meeting.
Okay.
So we can have take the actions that,
It's never an easy job, so thank you for coming up, taking the time out.
there's no problem with jobs that aren't easy. You all serve, everyone here serves in some way, with jobs that some days have little challenges, and that's just part of it.
Yep.
This is not a problem.
All right.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, John.
Nice meeting you, Todd. You have Todd, right?
Yep, that's right.
Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
All right.
Good?
Yeah. Thanks, John. I'm gonna send a message back to him that it will be on its way to them. Of course, there are 6 or 8 hours.
Wait,
Huh?
wait.
Yeah.
Not yet, I got a couple meetings, plenty of night meetings. Although it is Casper, so I think I probably should.
You take on all those little towns that
You could definitely have supper down there.
we lesses?
What's that?
Did you take all the towns that we left?
No,
Not Meriden or
I
anything?
have my own problems, so.
Oh.
He said, there's only good ones, these are the good ones, and I said, okay, I get those. These other ones are bad. So, yeah, rural water is number one in Jackson County, they're a problem.
They are. Have you seen the agreement, for?
The tribal?
Yeah.
I wrote it, sure.
Okay, you wrote it.
Wrote the whole thing.
Okay, I've got it laying on my desk, I'm supposed to read it.
Yeah, just understand that I wrote it with the district's interests in mind,
Right.
and that
As it
my
should be.
past experience with the tribe is, with water districts, that is, that they really have a problem with me doing that. So,
It was funny, did you know they wanted their road and bridge to come out and dig the trench and lay the pipeline for it?
yeah,
I said, well, I don't know that you have the expertise to put water line together, and yeah, we probably won't do that.
we'll stay with it.
Yeah, we'll stick with, RDR, somebody who does that for a living.
We'll have more than that they'll come back with, I know, so.
Alright. Thanks, Todd.
You bet, see you.
See you later.
So long.
Let's have a good one.
Dan, did you want to judge chili at, the Fall Fest?
I'm already participating, but I'll be right back.
Okay. Do you? Mark? You want to judge chili? At the
I should
October,
be able to do it, I saw that email.
October 12th?
Let me check my calendar. October
That's
12th,
the
as of
October
right now, I've got nothing on it, so,
So you can do that?
yeah, I can do that. So, yeah, I'll email her back and tell her I can do it.
Okay, that'd be great. How are you today? Good.
Mike, did I read that you came from Indiana?
I did.
Where are you from? Where at?
I'm actually from all over, but I was about an hour outside of Indianapolis recently. But I'm
Bloomington?
retired.
Bloomington?
No, to the east.
My wife's from Indiana, that's why I asked. So she's from Avon.
Yeah, I didn't spend a whole lot of time there. I did like it though. The Amish were becoming a huge influence, especially in eastern Indiana.
Yeah.
And what's great about the Amish is that they're very family oriented.
Yes.
They're great craftsmen. However, that also becomes a challenge because their families continually expand.
Yeah.
So when you go to purchase land, right, for instance with the Amish, they're very well off and they're very well to do and they make a lot of money. And they're difficult to compete against property.
I see.
So they're a great bunch of neighbors, and they put an interesting dynamic into that community.
Yeah, very good. You know, we go to Indy and basically there, but I've got some friends up in that area.
Yeah.
I have a friend retired, I don't know what position he had with Eli Lilly up in that area too. He's a Kansas boy.
Yeah, they just opened up a big
Kansas guy.
warehouse outside of Indianapolis, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. My wife graduated high school there. They were pretty much from there originally, and I thought, I wonder where you're from.
Yeah.
So
it's pretty country. I do like a lot out there.
they have bigger trees than we do here. The terrain's similar,
Yeah.
but it seems like their trees are a lot bigger than ours.
They, I think, have a lot more challenge with some areas in agriculture, so they didn't go through and clear cut a lot of places
Yeah.
for things like that. So I think that some of their trees did remain of a larger stature.
Yeah.
And then
You see
they're
it on I-70 in particular.
right.
So, but I don't know if you drive or fly.
I drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, they face that area in particular is facing a lot of challenges too with expansion. We had several friends that were just outside of a small town, and then over the course of 10 years, Indianapolis has grown so much.
Mhm.
They had bought that property well in advance, and then by the time they were settled down enough to go build, the city had expanded so much, and then they basically annexed where their property was at, and they were no longer able to do what they wanted to, so then they had to sell and move further out.
Our family was real close to the racetrack. They're all big into racing. I mean, if it's not football or baseball, I'm not really into the day all.
Indy's neat. It's like a little city within a city.
Yeah.
I like that area.
Yeah. And I had tickets to the first Brickyard if I wanted to go.
Yeah.
You know, and that was back in late 90s, I think.
Right.
I said, I don't really know anything about it. So,
Have you ever been to the track?
no.
It's an engineering marvel.
Yeah.
And the amount of NASCAR is neat, but the amount of engineering that has to go into Indy cars is Formula One in general is just it's astounding.
My brother-in-law worked for one of the car manufacturing subsidiaries, and then he worked for I don't know, Penske.
Right.
And you know, that was mostly a hobby, but I just don't understand some of it because we never really had it here when I was growing up. It was all football, basketball, baseball.
Right.
But one family owned the whole schmear, I think, didn't they? If I remember correctly.
I'm actually not super familiar with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not.
It's like Jerry Jones owning his football stadium with the Cowboys. But anyway, next time I saw you, I was going to ask you that question.
Yep.
If where in Indy you're from.
Yeah. We liked it there. We liked it a lot. Land values there skyrocketed. You're looking at about 10 grand an acre, roughly, in some areas. It wasn't the Amish; it was big ag.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I never knew that. So.
And it was the change in personality was pretty radical because I retired out of Virginia. So when I left the state of Virginia and I went to even my first drive-through experience in Indiana, the amount of courtesy and just hospitality blew my mind. I said, this gal must just be having a good day. It turns out that was just the way. And what was crazy was going from there and having that hospitality shift. Coming to here, there was almost as much of an even better hospitality shift coming here.
Oh, good.
We really enjoyed being here.
Good. Where are you from originally, Kathleen?
Well, I grew up in Omaha, Nebraska.
Okay. You're not far.
No, not at all.
Skipping a joke.
Yeah, Holton's 2.5 miles from Omaha and 2.5 from Wichita, right in the middle, I was told.
Yeah, it's pretty fast.
Yeah. I stayed in Nebraska City for, I don't know, several weeks when I was in college working on power plants. That one up there.
What did you do at power plants?
Boilermaker.
Nice.
Mostly worked on precipitators.
I was about to say you would have fit in the Navy. Could have been
Yeah.
a boiler technician.
Yeah. A lot of my buddies were retired Navy.
Yeah.
I couldn't weld to save my life though.
No. There's some interesting stories. There's actually Medal of Honor recipients that were Boilermakers in Pearl Harbor that went through some pretty courageous actions and put their lives on the line to save people for boilers that were failing under fire.
We'll recess for lunch.
You know, as we look at this.
that email, I'm trying to gather information to answer her back.
Yeah.
And one of the counties that she had referenced was Kingman, which has a 65.45 mill levy,
Right.
okay? But they are also broken up into townships also,
They are.
okay?
Uh-huh.
So that's on top of the county, right? For each township?
No, so what the county, yes, as far as milling, so each township, I believe,
Uh-huh.
creates their own mill.
Uh-huh.
I'd have to check on that. I don't.
Well, I'm looking right here.
I think
and-
you're right, they do, but like Shawnee County is a township.
Yep. So if you
Shawnee
live in
County-
that township, you pay the mill levy for that township.
Correct. But Shawnee County also gives each township certain amount of dollars for their bridges.
For their bridges.
Yes.
Because here Kingman, for the county levy is 12.43 for road and bridge,
So that makes it 73.
okay? So, no, so that's included in 65.49.
Oh, okay.
But, like I said, then you start looking at the townships, and they range anywhere from 7.637 in one township to 43.65 in another township.
Okay.
So that other township then, if you add those two together, that's over 100 mills.
Each township should have their own, sorry. I see that I did that by accident. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I did wrong. Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, each township, in Atchison County, for example, they have their own, grader system and trucks.
I'm just gonna throw that one out, because you can't compare apples to apples on that.
No.
That's totally,
And you're going to love it. I'm not sure it requires, from what I read in there, no, we're not. You have to know the information about each individual county, and you can't compare one to the other. It's just like in that revenue neutral meeting, comparing us to Coffee County.
yeah,
But nobody made mention the difference in what a mill is, It's 5 times as high.
yeah,
Because of Wolf Creek.
oh yeah.
And so, yeah, you're.
I'm
Put a
trying
lot
to
of
give her
research.
I'm trying to give her a logical, answer. But we gotta compare apples to apples if we're gonna do that. We can't compare, if a
Right.
county has townships, that automatically throws that one out. Just doesn't make any sense to try to compare us to that. Especially like when I say if she wants to do that, then I can take the average of all these townships,
Yeah.
and it's still gonna come out higher than we are.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so, I was gonna pull up all
How about Brown and Brown, Nemaha, Jefferson counties like that?
I think that, I wanna say Brown is townships. Brown is townships. Nemaha, I believe, is townships.
Oh, it is?
Yep.
They're big. I think Nemaha's bigger, but Brown's smaller. I can't, population wise. Todd County would be out of the works because they've got Jeffrey. That would be an apple versus an apple. How about Osage?
Nemaha is townships.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to find relevant
Yeah.
population too.
Yeah, well, I've got populations down
And
there
a lot
too.
of those counties out in western Kansas have 3,000 to 6,000 people in them.
Scott County, 5,014.
They got way
And
more cattle than
you know how many industries Scott County has?
Oh, a lot.
7.
Yeah.
You know how many industry, Pratt with 9,067. They have 14 industries plus a college.
Right.
So, you know, and these were all the ones that she had indicated that we ought to look at. Logan County, 2,705 with 3 industries, and that was, I think, the one that I looked at the map, and you look at that, and there's hardly any roads out there. You know, because they're just going from one field to the next, there's no roads.
Right. A lot of mile sections that
Yeah.
there's nothing in between them.
So-
and farther. And so did you respond to Leonard?
I can't pull it up for some crazy reason.
Wait.
I'm trying to pull up, okay, right here. Right?
Okay.
Okay. For some reason, it's not wanting to pull up.
Well, you can stop. It's right there.
No, read it. This is, oh, I read that. No, this is, I'm trying to email it back.
You have to go here. You're either forwarding it to somebody, you're replying, or
I did that.
you're gonna reply.
Yeah, I did that.
Okay? Right there where the cursor is, make your response, and then hit send.
Okay. You know what you got here when it comes to
Okay.
electronics.
All right.
I've had people doing it for me all the years.
The 26th, that special meeting.
Yeah, it is.
That's in October, correct?
No,
it's
it's September
September.
meeting, 6 o'clock on 30th.
Huh?
September 30th.
At 6.
We're on the 30th.
Yeah.
I understand, Christie, that the hospital is on next week's agenda. Oh, okay.
I
Gotta do it.
had class Friday, so I wouldn't.
Okay. Maybe I got it. The email that stated we will be trying to, but I think she said that she was on next week's.
I think I've seen that.
Okay, good.
This morning, so.
Okay. Very good.
Bless you.
Excuse me. What did you say?
Now you're gonna make me start.
Pretty much hiding it from someone.
I'm just gonna let, you're gonna work till 7 tonight? You guys all right with that? I'll call the sheriff's office and let them look at right here.
Who's that?
It's McLean.
Putting the
Put the
panels
panels
up.
up.
Oh, yeah.
Panels.
Yeah.
I'll just call the sheriff and let them know they're in here and I'll show them it's locked up. Well, I have it locked.
I was gonna say, just lock the door.
And I'll be able to myself.
Okay. I sent him a note, setting my phone number.
Perfect.
Okay. Once I send it here, send that. Here knows what. Okay. I see. Okay, Keith, let me go back to you, Keith.
Oh, you have to change your address in the top, who you're sending it to.
Okay. I'll do that.
Up to the very top where it says to.
Yeah.
You want to go and put in whoever you're trying to send it to.
Okay.
Wait a minute. You hit.
Okay. Yeah. I gotta read. Yeah. So let me do this. Why is there a greater than sign? You have to put that in there too? The greater than? I'm gonna say, again, right here. Greater than?
No.
Why can't I pull that up?
that on a blind or on a copy. So you gotta come down here.
All right, that.
Yeah, it's-
Okay.
That's not what it's.
Just for the record, people my age are pretty much the same boat that I am in reference to computers. Yeah, they are.
My mother's 85.
Is she operates?
Oh.
Oh, geez.
Cut that out of there, put it in here, paste it, and there it is, and now we do need to do is hit send.
Oh, yeah, it's misspelling here. Your mom does that 85, wow. That's impressive.
Victoria took him out to dinner late, and
Uh-huh.
let him get in the water, and she got in the water and took pictures.
That's cool.
Yeah, I thought that was really neat.
Yeah.
Something different.
Okay, so we asked a simple question because someone at the revenue neutral meeting brought up the question about increasing sales tax. So we asked the question, do people not read the question? I mean, Brandon Shaw, you know,
I haven't went out and looked at the responses.
all we want to know, we want feedback, not criticism. We're not agreeing to do this. That's the part that it really, I just don't understand. You know?
Yeah, we're trying to
Do
keep
you
it
not
asking questions
comprehend
about
what
what
was
they
written
said.
up there, or is it too difficult to just politely say, I'm for an increase or I'm against an increase, and here's why?
It doesn't work that way.
Well, it should.
I know.
I reached out to people this past week, just on the phone to ask them, people who have retail, and a lot of people were like, well, that's one of the fairest taxes there is.
Yeah.
And then some people said, no, I really just wish we wouldn't do that. Okay, that's all I needed to know. But to say, you're looking at increasing our taxes, the tax to a higher than Topeka, you guys are doing awesome to help our economy.
That's Brandon, right?
That's Brandon.
Yep.
Did
I
you,
thought that I
Kathleen,
read
I
that.
assume you commented on here, I assume you understood what the
I
question
wasn't
was.
listening, sorry, what's the question?
You commented on the commissioners about, the,
Yeah, I just noticed that certain things weren't listed, and I know that I had heard a lot about transparency and, just a second, transparency and wanting, community involvement, participation, and so I want that too, so that's why I'm trying to post all these things to let people know, you guys want us to not just me obviously, but the community to come in and talk, so let's have the opportunity presented by having as much information as possible. So that's what I'm doing right now, is trying to gather as much information as possible to let the public know with enough time, so that, because everybody's busy, so not everybody can come to every single meeting, but if we have enough people coming and participating, then it's a dialogue. You know what I'm saying? Like,
sure, no, I understand.
and so that's what I hear you guys saying, so that's what we're trying to do by letting people know, here's this meeting, and I'm just not seeing it on the Facebook page, and I know you guys are busy.
Do you go to the webpage?
The Facebook page?
The web page,
Yeah.
Jackson County
Yeah.
website?
Yeah,
Different.
I'm the one that posted that I didn't see on,
No,
I'm
no,
gonna finish.
You're talking about two different things.
Can I finish? On the Facebook page, I just put, I know, it's pretty funny, that I was curious, because I don't know when the agenda goes up, and I looked on Friday.
She can answer that.
Okay,
Normally we have it out before, but I was gone Friday.
Okay.
So Mary did it, but it
Okay.
got up there late Friday.
yeah, well, I knew I was gonna
The
be here
agenda for
today, and
this
so
meeting.
that's why I was just curious about that. So again, it's a learning process for me, and so that's why I was asking, so that I'm like, okay, if I, and what day is it, like
We usually
midweek?
try to post it like Wednesday or Thursday.
Okay, I just
What-
thought, I didn't check till Friday, and I just thought,
I usually try to get it up there a couple days early.
okay.
What I was
thanks.
trying to answer your question was,
Okay.
the first comment was when the zoning and planning meeting was. And my question was, do you go to the county website, look at the calendar to know when these meetings are planned for?
I have been recently, yes.
Okay, because you asked on here, you asked, when is it? And you just asked on Facebook.
I think it was a different meeting that we're talking about, but I'm not gonna look at it right now.
Okay. Thoughts on increasing the, I mean, cause that was brought up in that meeting
Right.
over there.
Yeah, I could only go to the first half of it, cause I had to be somewhere else, I had a class to teach that night.
Early
Yeah.
in the meeting, somebody
Right, so
said,
I was like,
why don't you increase the sales
I
tax?
wasn't there at the end when people were talking, I was there listening, and then I had to leave midway through. So anyway, my knee-jerk reaction would be, no, I'm not interested in that, but I'm willing to listen, and I'm willing to hear the wheres and whys. That's why I'm not like immediately gonna say yes or no. Knee-jerk reaction, no, I don't want that, but I'm willing to listen. Because it's a learning process, and I would like for more people, not just me, to come and listen and gather information so we can have dialogue
We have a special meeting on the 30th.
of this month.
Uh-huh.
At 6 on not Thursday?
It's a Monday night.
Monday, okay.
On Monday night.
Okay, got it.
And it's strictly to talk about people's thoughts on increasing the sales tax in the county.
Yeah, I think I saw that. Was that just posted like yesterday? I think I just saw that.
Yeah, it was posted last Monday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Where exactly do you live?
Where do I live? 118 and H Road.
Say it again.
118 and H Road in the Delia zip code.
Okay,
So not Delia proper.
gotcha. And, you have a farm?
Yeah, we have about 120 acres.
Okay. And you still have children in school?
No, I have a 30-year-old son and a 33-year-old daughter. My son just got married a
Okay.
couple weekends ago.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm 55.
How old?
55.
Oh, well,
You're my age.
yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that, but, okay, so.
You're still a baby.
Yeah. Where did
I'm okay with that assessment, if that's all right.
Yeah, where did they go to school? Royal Valley then, or St. Mary's?
I raised them in Lawrence. We lived in Lawrence, Kansas for 19 years. We lived
Okay.
in Jackson County and Delia for 13 years.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, pretty much. Let me go over a couple more.
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I don't think I renamed anyone of these.
We'll see.
You never know.
Christie, you poached out at Road and Bridge, I see. It wasn't very nice.
I'm trying to help replace. And
That's nice of you.
I'm not coaching right away.
Coaching? Coaching?
Terrible.
She's older. You probably older. You both older. I think it's great too.
Me too.
I was gonna say, do you have a training class?
Yeah, she's walking. I just wanted to report. Told her if you need to stay after I finish training, fine. But we started next week and not school here if I tell you that.
Commissioner Pruett made the motion to hire a law group. Commissioner Pruett seconded the motion.
You already did.
You are a busy, yeah. Yes, indeed.
Second page of, September 3rd meeting.
It's got everything in it.
So do I get credit for the second?
You can get credit for whichever way you want.
I remember.
You guys do good.
Who did?
Mark, he just is doing his own motions and approving them.
You did the motion.
Third page.
acceptance on 2 different meetings, or are they just all?
No, because the night meeting was continued, wasn't it, from the day meeting?
Okay. So just one more. Okay. Let's see.
Motion?
Go ahead, Mark. You want to?
Make a vote.
We only need one. Yeah, hang on, okay, so I will, make a motion that we approve the minutes of September 3rd, 2024. I'll go ahead and second it to you guys, okay?
Saves me time.
Have been moved second, we approve the minutes, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no.
See, I made it quick because I got to know where who was gonna make the motion minutes, I wanted to take it out, and then you guys change it all.
We try to take turns. Mark? You know, they're gonna have to scramble to find somebody. It doesn't matter if we don't approve it anyway, you have the, authority to do that. Well, she hires and fires and promotes and demotes. We have no, we just
We have
agree.
to allow transfer.
Do we? We do. I know, but technically, I don't know.
No, technically, we have to allow.
Well, I look at that Nylander versus Lincoln County. She can hire. I like that statute there. What do you mean with road and bridge? 19?
No,
26?
they didn't invite me back.
They didn't?
Did you do the payroll?
No, I haven't. I better. Okay. Any out of the ordinary looks? I always call them aberrations. But, okay.
So, Mark's gonna do the judging for the showing gate then.
Oh, I saw that. Thank you. So I will be there helping another booth.
This was just, the appropriations was for information only, Christie. That was information only.
She did not pay them, so we're paying them, so I just want you guys to sign off on that.
Oh.
I'm sorry, what?
I think you have to be out of the meeting. I think it's 3 days, and then if you're retired, you can leave.
I think a lot of people get it and they don't know they have it anymore.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
That happened to me. I didn't know I had it because I went in for another issue a couple of years ago. Said, oh, you got COVID. Okay.
Letter of support for a weed grant. Just need a motion to approve that.
Broadband. Who's,
She just stopped in the office today.
it's for who?
Look into that letter. You got a packet under that letter.
Well, oh, so it's like a giant company. I've never heard of them.
I haven't either.
So we're just a conduit, basically, right? We have to approve it though? Or we just sign off?
Need a motion to approve it.
I so move that we support Resound high-speed internet for their grants that they are applying for, and through the FCC Rural Digital Opportunity Fund.
Okay.
Where will that be,
Mainly Delia area.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
oh, there's a map.
yeah. I think it, well, does that go up to Soldier?
Looks like it goes all the way up through.
Yeah, Nemo
Okay,
County.
yeah, okay. I'll second that.
And then Jackson County. Okay.
Moved and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
I'm surprised Giant went big out there, because they looked at Emmett here a few years ago. You remember that? They were looking at Denison and Emmett.
They were looking at Delia.
Delia, I mean, Delia, not Emmett.
And
Yeah.
it was only because they were going to
Delia.
put a tower in there and do a point-to-point, not first clip. I thought it was
Big clip or a little clip?
I was scared. I visited with Scott and, just for information, informed him of the new policy that all deposits will go through the clerk's office. I said, whatever information they need, they can carry that down here, going to records down there. Doesn't need to go through a search center.
Okay. No, that's a good idea.
So what's Scott gonna do for Terra? You said you were working on helping.
I actually had somebody that's interested out there, and she
Oh.
would be really good.
Yeah.
She's worked for the county before.
She's what?
She's worked for the county before, but in a different department.
Who is it?
Um,
You can't say. Yeah.
she has a terminator application.
Oh. She's familiar with that kind of,
I think she would fit well.
that's the important thing. She learn quick. And
I think she would.
you responded to a Luann Betts, correct? Last week. Did you do that?
Who is it?
Luann Betts.
Luan?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Did she respond back to you?
Isn't she with the bridge?
told you, I said, just respond no. Kept saying, is there something in the agenda?
I don't know if I even respond.
Let's look in your,
I'll put it up.
let's look in your inbox. Cause I had one written down, and he said, no, I'll take care of it, cause she's in my district.
Great,
I said,
okay,
So
yeah,
let's
great,
see.
great, great. Thought I did. So, yeah, right here. Oh, I'm sorry. Drafts?
No, you said she's right here. What-
Yeah, right here. Did I respond?
Just hit one. So,
Mm-hmm.
you just, I mean, that, click it once,
Mm-hmm.
send. Hit
Wow.
yes, yes. It doesn't include time. What did you say? And you respond.
So, what did you respond?
I didn't, I deleted it
What,
because you
yeah,
said.
yeah, but what was your? I thought I did.
Okay, I'm just gonna.
Oh, no, I wrote, miss, yeah, I did. I wrote, thank you. Let me find it.
Just,
Right there, miss, yeah, I did. I responded, where'd it go? Yeah, after the commissioner's response to your main question, the answer is no, we want less government control. As far as, I'm not clear on his intentions, thank you. Perfect. All right.
delete that.
I came through.
Good job.
I don't think we've heard any more from her, have we? Apparently not. Yeah, it was on Tuesday of last week.
You have anything else you want to say, Will?
Yeah, I'm back now. Chairman.
All good?
Yeah. Is, Bedner still paying, you know?
He's about done.
Is he? Good.
He's got one thing left.
That's it? Now, that's amazing, because a few months ago, we said that, we'll see what happens. The other day, when I was at the safety meeting, the topic was brought up about that water tank that we got. There's no baffles in it, they're all concerned about it possibly having issues. So,
They're already addressing that, have been since this summer.
we understand that no baffles said, we're aware that we need to do something.
So why did they ask grazing?
They just want to complain. You know, while I was there.
Is the, Fall Fest is this Saturday? Is that correct? In Chili Cook-Off?
No.
No, this Saturday is.
It's October.
I'm sorry?
This Saturday's the county picnic.
Yes, Fall Fest is in October.
That's right. The company picnic at Banner, South Side, what time? 1 o'clock.
And we have a certain mass, so we'll probably sold out sometime.
Are we helping to serve, or is it just catered to anybody?
She's just keeping.
Okay.
Well, basically, even some personals.
Yeah. I remember last year, I don't remember what it was for sure, but kids got in the water. It was nice and warm.
It was nice last year.
Yeah, was that
Then
August?
it started raining.
Yes, I left the hole.
Yeah, it was August. We did it later this year.
That's how I thought. Water's getting cold. It's supposed to be 84 and then a low of 58.
Yeah, they can play the playground.
Okay. Well, I hope my wife is feeling up to it.
I was
So.
just gonna ask if you were gonna go up.
She goes to a specialist again next week, a week from tomorrow. And he ran a bunch of tests prior to trying to determine.
So you don't know
Yeah.
anything.
She's just very tired. So we're hoping and praying it's not bone marrow or blood issue.
My mom has had blood cancer for 10 years.
10 years?
She's had cancer since I was living here too.
Myelodysplasia?
Hers was amyloidosis. Amyloidosis.
Well, she's a battler then. That's great.
Oh yeah, my mom's a fighter. She started out with breast cancer, ended up having a colonosectomy,
Oh, jeez.
and she's living in ours. Myeloma, and that led to the amyloidosis.
Well, the good news is Marcia's situation, she had that they went in there and tied her stomach. Now it's coming back, having issues here. But everything, the sutures, everything took, there's no loss of blood, even though she's losing it somewhere, we don't know where. Less anemia.
Hey Scott,
They took her
just got a
blood.
message from somebody
That's
wanting to
coming,
right
that's coming up.
tribal
Because normally if you lose
headquarters
blood,
on
it's just
162.
Yeah, or an internal
That's the
bleeding.
old 75
It's,
curve line, you just
yeah.
chip and seal on it.
She'll have a,
But where, instead of going through the curve,
Yeah, well,
if you go straight on
safe.
162,
Fine.
you end up being
Yeah,
on
it's-
You're not hostage until Kate comes.
Say what?
You can't leave
Okay.
until Kate comes, she's almost
Sorry
done.
about that. Oh. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
We could go in there and
Okay.
shut the door.
So
turn the
if
lights
you
on.
wanna just look at it, apparently
story.
you come off the hard surface on the gravel, so
So-
it's maybe a 200-yard stretch there before you get to Q Road, which is back to hard surface. A, is that our responsibility? And B, if it is, you know, you might take a look at that and see,
Recorder.
to be
Right.
damaged or oil hole coming
Yeah,
off
I've
that,
done that
or
too.
going.
Do you have one to do that
Zigzag
too?
or drop off, and then check also along there, I think there's a culvert, and it looks like it's moving on rebar or sticking out.
Questions about
on either the north or
miners?
south side, he's saying.
I thought your office had one.
It looked dangerous, did it?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. on both sides. It's, like I said, it's maybe 200 yards of gravel left. Okay, thank you, Scott.
So what's Wimer doing nowadays?
She's retired.
Completely? She still owns her property over here. Rented out. This, her daughter-in-law did some modeling for us once, years ago. But it was at the Mexican Fiesta. It was too hot. She's no bigger than me.
No, she's tiny.
She said, I can't do this anymore. I said, okay. So I always thought she had stated she wanted to model. So, before she got married.
Which is nothing to her.
Oh, she's fine.
She eats like a pig.
Does she?
Yes.
What do you got going on this week?
I take my mother to the doctor's appointment on Thursday. Saturday I have a 5K in Topeka.
What?
I say and I are doing a 5K for suicide prevention in Topeka Saturday morning.
Running? Walking?
Not running, just bodybuilder run. I can walk for 5K.
That's cool. Yeah, that's good.
Then we'll come back for the picnic. And then my granddaughter turns 4. Or 5. And she turns 4 on Sunday.
Now, the picnic Saturday or Sunday?
Sunday. Sunday.
That's what I thought.
Picnic Saturday.
Our picnic Saturday.
Yes.
Yes.
This
Oh,
Saturday.
Okay.
This
At 1
Saturday.
o'clock.
The county picnic Saturday.
The 14th.
Yes.
Okay.
What time?
1 o'clock.
I'll be there.
You be there? Okay. Last year at the Sept.
Yes.
And who's Kate?
Yeah, them people.
Yeah. Not
Mary's
thrilled.
husband and Denise's husband are doing the meat. And then we're getting sides for CCPs.
Mary is in.
My Mary.
Oh, you're Mary. And Denise.
Our sister. Sweet.
Sorry?
Sweet.
Okay.
They're doing chicken and pork.
The guys.
And
Delbert.
lots of very good.
Yeah. Delbert's her husband, right? Okay.
I know Delbert.
He's a Goodyear man, isn't he?
Yes.
Over bowling?
No.
Sweet.
Sweet. I want to say he lives on 222 or something.
Hill Road.
Yeah. Yeah, he's reached out to me over the years about the road. We got it fixed. Oh, my goodness. Not get enough sleep last night?
No, I didn't sleep good last night at all.
Well, I kept waking up, middle of the night, 3 or 4 times. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. What am I doing? Of course, Marcia got up with the dog. 4 o'clock. We have an alarm system. Alarm real loud. You know, but when you shut it off or you turn it off, I don't mind when you turn it off. When you shut it off, it's loud.
Let me show you something.
I don't want hearing aids. No.
See who wrote that?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
I wouldn't respond.
I saw it. Yeah, no, I saw that. Yeah.
I was told that wouldn't be a proper response.
Not appropriate.
No, I saw that, and,
Glad you did.
um,
Did you probably point that out?
yeah, I saw it.
Okay. I didn't know
Not in
that.
my district.
Do you have anything else?
You
Dan?
gotta wait on Kate.
Yeah, we are.
What?
Kate told me I can't let you leave yet.
Oh, she's coming
She's
in.
about done. She's getting the minutes and
Okay,
stuff.
alright. Okay.
Yeah.
Matt's been a little quiet lately.
Like that?
Matt.
Oh.
Few things.
I believe he's putting out false information on Facebook, and I'm looking at it right now.
I talked to the Rubies yesterday at Lake. Yeah. So we're doing everything we can. This hasn't, especially loss of land. Well, it's been going on a long time. I said, yeah, county loses every time they challenge it in court. I said, we have to go through the Congress.
We used to spend thousands of dollars doing certified grants and all that.
Yeah. But, I don't know. Did we get, when's Congress go back? In September? That part of September? Are they back down? I don't know.
I don't think so.
Well, hopefully we get legislation instead of problems. That'd be, I mean, that's gonna be a party and a half if that happens, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, throw it. But, then we lost LADTR. We lost what else?
And did somebody say the governor was wanting to talk about?
She's been wanting to, do something on it, yeah. But the legislature is absolutely dead set
Yeah.
against it.
She
The
proposed.
legislative leadership is dead set against it.
Yeah. She proposed in her budget, this last budget, which is this year, she proposed in her budget money for it. But it wasn't what we really had hoped for, but at least it was a start.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't remember what it was. I've read it a ton. But I think she'd be on board. I think most of it would be if they'll ever let it come to a vote. Excuse me. That's what's hurting.
Well, they took a voice vote on bringing it back 2 years ago, and it passed overwhelmingly.
Yeah, 2/3 at least.
We just have a couple in there that don't wanna do it.
Well, you have the leadership, Mr. Hawkins and Mr. Masterson, who absolutely.
Now, I will say this, Craig Bowser's good friends with Hawkins. They went to school together, the same fraternity and everything in Emporia, and they're friends.
And
I think he would be a good ally for us. I really do believe it, because I think he understands it. But that's what's gonna build a new Chiefs Stadium over there in the Legend, so. Well, they're up to $4.5 billion now.
knows.
That Star Bonds. Hey, what are you up to?
Don't come through the door yawning.
Sorry, but like I have 3 jobs right now, so I'm allowed to go.
Okay, you can go.
So I have reached out to Mark and mentioned the grassroots. Make sure I read this right.
The what?
The grassroots strategy developers. Okay. So when Holton came and visited me and he spoke, he had mentioned that they were going to do this. Now this is something that they just launched and I just happened to see the blurb in the ORP's newsletter. And I've already reached out. And they are trying to launch this program and I said, why can't Jackson started the team that is solely focused on the growth and prosperity of rural Kansas. We are committed to supporting rural communities throughout the state by providing access to resources that can help them thrive through a wide range of programs, trainings, asset development, and grant opportunities to support rural initiatives. So basically, she can tailor it to each community, whatever organization is interested in taking it on, and it is a way to pull resources. Now, with this Build Kansas Fund that they have rolling out for the next, I think this goes out in 2027 is how long the program's gonna be for. It's $240 million that's available for us to apply for the matching funds for the federal grants. So if we can get a point person in each community, there is money, and there are rolling grants going, and then we've got somebody who can actually be the point person to help them to get the resources that they need, and there's funding available. So that way, where we would be lacking the matching funds previously, you start to apply for your federal grant, and then you apply for the matching funds through the Build Kansas Fund, and then they give you the secure, the match, usually at 25%, so then you can go for the federal dollars. Which is a lot of what our issues with going for some of these grants were. It wasn't that we didn't qualify, but we just weren't gonna have the matching funds. That's gonna eliminate some of that issue.
Is this a bill grant you're talking about?
Part of it, yeah.
Okay.
So that's part of what he was talking about, when it's like, so they've already, this Carrie Folletti, she's over central and eastern Kansas, we've already been in communication. I've already said we would love to have her at like the chamber offices or somewhere in Jackson County to where she's available, so if people wanted to come and meet and talk to her, they know that she's there, and we wanted to provide many opportunities at different times, kind of so that way. But, full disclosure, I picked up working some evenings in Hoyt, helping Matt out at Elm Creek Beef, because a local market is too vital for a rural community to have to go less hours. And I knew he was having trouble finding help. But that also puts me into the community, so people see me as a part of that community, and I'm learning things. So we've talked about, I've got a contact in Hoyt that's on the city commission that wants to reach out and kind of start talking and seeing like what their options are for some of their specific needs. I went ahead and mentioned it to Jonathan because I know he kind of puts together those mayor meetings, but it might be something that you guys want to kind of let people know is legitimate. And as we try to promote it, that's why I'm trying to let you know as soon as we're starting to get something scheduled, so that way we can try to get some attendance there. But, even just the organizations, it doesn't have to necessarily be the communities, but I feel like presenting it and rolling it out to them would be the most. I just wanted to kind of let you know that I saw that and I got a little excited and jumped on it.
What more can you ask of us? What can we do?
Well, I will forward the information once I have it, and if you will just kind of help promote it or let people know, kind of in your circles that these are something exciting. It's a really great opportunity. It's not anything that's been done yet, and this is the opportunity for us to be on the forefront and to be the example of what could be done.
Okay.
And then they can promote Jackson County and what they're doing as they're getting this program ramped up to try to build in more people. And then we're working on the Love Kansas thing, which is because it's too easy for me to walk across. And we're gonna have our little tent to encourage people to move back to Kansas at the Art Walk and stuff. But while I was in the call on that one, there's a gentleman with Fort Riley who let me know that they actually work with transitioning soldiers that they take into the communities already. So we were talking to him about, because they usually schedule it through the chamber, how we would like to do that. And Roger Schlockman and I thought that if we hosted a group, because we really need if maybe got like the VFW to do a breakfast or something for the soldiers and just really kind of just show the community. I talked to Roger Schlockman at the hospital because I know that they're trying to recruit people with certificates and, licenses and things like that. And I thought, well, who better? But then I also thought if we while we are recruiting and going up there for other things, that there is a significant need for, let's say, childcare, and there was somebody who was looking at wanting to start a childcare center, that this would be an ideal community because you wouldn't be stepping on toes and it would be fully supported. And because when you're attracting the husbands, sometimes the wives or vice versa will come along, and so that may be an opportunity to maybe recruit somebody in who would be serious about opening up a childcare center. And just letting them know, like, hey, this is something we really like, so if somebody wants to do that, we would want them to come into our community. And it's just kind of, I just see too many opportunities to, and so like they have a every first Wednesday of every month, they have at different bases or different places, like, or different places on the base, they have a recruitment to where you can go and kind of push to the soldiers that are going to transition out. And so we thought, well, we could take the Jackson County tourism stuff, we could take some chamber stuff, we could take the hospital because they're always trying to hire, and maybe see if they're a couple, and just have like a little mini delegation to go and kind of see if we could get some support, and then really kind of see if maybe that might be a way to kind of fill some needs from outside of the community.
I'm on a board with called Harping Works, which deals with labor, also for Riley, placement of soldiers getting out. I'll give you that information.
Perfect.
Be happy to help you on that.
Yeah, I just think it's too good of an opportunity.
Sure.
Especially, because this might be an opportunity where somebody might want to look at staying in Kansas, and this might be their dream, and we could be the place to say, we are here, we want you, we will make it as easy for you to succeed as possible.
Yeah.
And that would answer, so, and then just to let people be aware that it's a need that we're looking to fill. If we don't identify it, how are we ever gonna fill it?
Thank you. Yeah.
But I just think especially because our community is so focused on, the military, and we are so military friendly, it would be a natural.
Right.
Anyway, I've been working, because when they leave me alone at the chamber, I get a lot done.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, sure. Is there a meeting Thursday?
Yes, there is, and I was just gonna, 7:30.
7:30. I got meeting.
It is, okay, something you're gonna take care of then?
Yeah. I'll see what the guys want.
It may be.
Yeah, and just let me know what you guys want to do, and I can work the board.
Sure.
But I just wanted,
Thank you.
I feel like a lot of our issue as a community is we've got a lot of people that are wanting to do the same things, but we're all trying to expend energy, and if we focus the energy, we can move the needle farther. That was sort of what I was notorious for in Tulsa, Cypress and stuff, was just putting people together.
Yep.
And that's what I think we need to kind of do, is to just sort of create the program, the idea, and then focus the energy, so then we can, like, it's a community thing, like,
Yeah.
who wouldn't want to welcome soldiers into our community? I mean, it's a win-win.
Well, we gotta have jobs
Christie?
and.
I'm sorry, Dan, hang on
Oh,
just a
sorry.
second. Can you call up to Lynn's office and see if there's something printed up in her office that we feel she needs to use? Good.
But,
Just go ahead.
just kind of some stuff I've been throwing around, I'm working on it, and like I said, I just wanted to let you guys know, I'm doing it later, so as we start doing it, and if I need help promoting it, or people bring it up to you, you know about it,
Right.
and can be like, it's legit, and you should really, like, look at it. So, I was gonna close the office up next.
Yeah, sounds great. Appreciate great energy on your part.
Yeah, sorry, I love this community, it's too much, so not do what needs to be done.
Very good.
We appreciate that.
But yeah, so, yeah, just for fun.
Sharon, I believe it's Meyer on there. Yeah. They have something already in play or place. And, working with the soldiers, re-entering into the civil world instead of the military. But yeah, absolutely.
And the gentleman, I'll have to get his name, but he's the one that's kind of over at like Fort Riley, and he already responded back and gave me some contacts, and gave me, for me, the ideal was getting the schedule and the location for each monthly recruitment, so we could go and push.
Right.
Kind of give some of the businesses here that are needing to hire the opportunity to go and say, hey, and then plus we can show what a beautiful community and lacking in the childcare, I think there's an opportunity.
Yep, most definitely.
7:30 or 7 a.m.?
7:30 is when
Okay.
it begins.
Okay.
Alright.
Alright, well, that's all, I just kinda wanted to give you guys a quick update on what was going on, and as I get those things scheduled, that way when you see those emails, you're kinda knowing what it is.
Yep.
Easier than typing it.
Alright,
Sorry
appreciate
for
it.
busting in on you.
Oh,
See you later.
pleasure. Thank you. That in mind, while we're waiting on Kate.
We have something else to.
Sorry?
Go ahead, what do you?
Yeah.
Pass that down.
Oh, sorry. You just have to.
Third one, I've got it.
It's okay. Thursday morning,
I'll email
chamber.
it to you so that you can change things.
Can we help you, sir?
I need to get to somebody to notarize some of my papers.
I'm sorry, what is it?
If you go up to the treasurer's office, they have notaries. If you go up to the second floor in the northeast corner, they do
Thank you.
have.
7:30 is the meeting. The chamber invites us in to find out what's going on with the county. So if you have any thoughts on what I should talk about, asking you guys.
That looks good to me.
Put things in.
I told them they were under house arrest.
We were getting ready to go.
Oh, not yet.
I've already given it to you. Oh. Same thing.
We need to go over this,
Yeah.
since it's so freaking long. I did it, went over it with Jamie, found some stuff, and I drafted it, Ryder said it.
Shred.
Okay. And there was a formatting issue with one of the subsection numbers, anyway.
Which one do we start with?
You guys wanna read the minutes?
Read them right.
The first one's already basically with the approval, zoning of the potential residential and commercial.
And we're talking that they didn't have, maybe like an apartment or something in it.
Oh.
And I don't know if that's for like a 24-hour kind of, like if somebody's gonna be on call, I don't know.
Okay, so they're not gonna develop the area for housing as well, just
Not that
commercial?
area.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's all together though, not the Duns or Duns selling
Well,
it?
the transaction is 33 acres with the 10-acre parcel for the bed.
Okay.
I mean, to
Yeah.
be 3, it was the 10 acres that went to E3. That's why I asked Todd if changing the zoning of that, if that affects how many parcels can be created in that A1 district.
70 cows are a lot of cows. 70 head of cattle is a lot of head.
It's really not when you put them all in bins. I mean, you're really not.
Working on them, getting them out.
Yeah.
In and out.
You're not talking that big of a.
I bet you're talking less than 200 feet by 200 feet.
We weren't that big of farmers, what can I say?
What I'm saying is, when they bring them in, they back into the pit, they all fill the pit up, they run them through, and then they load them back up and haul them out.
Gotcha.
It's not like they're grazing.
No, I. Redlands or Athens? It's for water purposes? Okay.
We got 11. Rural water district number 3 got 11.
Okay.
keeping it at 20 is important for that are trying to get into farming, or they that are trying to get into farming? Or those, they or those?
Which page? Page
The
3.
third page, second paragraph, start with Jeanette Branson.
Actual page.
Oh, so it'll be actual page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry.
There's no acres in
How would you ever get 10 acres back?
Or
10
those that
acres
are.
is
Okay, for those that are. Okay.
more of a hobby farm, not easy to get back. I don't understand that.
I don't either. And if you're trying to make anything off 20 acres, you're not really doing it very.
big garden.
Yeah, I mean, that's
That's
it.
about all you can do. And maybe get a goat or two out there.
So on the third page, Steve Will made a motion to approve the change in zoning from A1 to A3, at least. No, don't worry, that's right. Let's made a motion to approve the change in zoning from A1 to A3.
Okay. All right, that's your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 line, basically.
Page 3 is
Yeah.
the fourth line.
Fourth line.
Steve Will made a motion
Okay.
To approve the change.
of zoning from A1 to A3.
Okay, because you also made a motion a couple lines down.
He amended, Jack. Also on the fifth page, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, sixth paragraph, Kate Immenschuh stated that would a scenario, so there should be a B inserted in there, B. That would be a scenario that would not require public notice.
Yeah.
Yep. Capitalize B on that same statement.
Do I know?
I'll capitalize the B on board for that
Okay.
same statement.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
Same with a couple lines down from that. The board's gonna be capitalized.
Which one? I'm sorry.
Across from
Page 5.
Yes.
6, 7, 8, 9. Statements down, it says, yeah, you ask the board if they wanted to change the definition of utility use or structure.
Okay.
And then the next two also, the board members, board, and the board change.
That's our new dentist.
Yeah.
Courthouse dentist. That's what it sounds like.
Expertise.
garage in there anyway, from where it says 127?
Huh?
I thought all this was already in there.
So I just put it in the minutes because that's what they ended up on.
Okay.
That's why I put it in the minutes.
Okay.
Because that was a change from the previous work session.
Okay. And was Mr. Singh's understanding of his question when it was addressed to him?
Yes.
Okay.
Did you already talk about this one? Should we go going forward? Excluding the money.
To include this portion and solar before wind energy.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So that's why
That's
the
what it
quotes.
Why it's worded that way.
Okay.
Did Mr. Willett give any, reasoning, any proof, anything that the county was it's been 2 years since NextEra introduced solar to the county, and the county is no closer to establishing regulations? What's his basis of that? Did he give you any basis for his reasoning on that we are no closer to establishing regulations?
Because they haven't seen any.
But that doesn't mean we're not closer. Yeah, I mean, that's just,
Guessing.
okay.
Yes.
I just wanted to give you a reasoning for that. Just because they haven't seen them doesn't mean that we aren't working on them and aren't closer to handing them over to them, so, yeah, okay.
Is Todd currently working with them?
Yes. And does not recall if county commissioners have been in communication with the planning commission on an outline or procedure. When they were in here for the coma,
He was referring to the solar
yes, and
outline.
that's what I'm saying, when he was in here for the coma, when all of the planning commissioners in for the coma training, that was one of the things that Lee went over with them and the new ones as to why we were doing it the way we were to save the county money and everything else. So for him to say that he's never been in on it, he sat right here and listened to it. So.
Jonathan did mention only one, maybe not two, moratoriums.
Okay, I've read the minutes.
I don't have any questions. I mean,
I don't know what else I could possibly,
I don't think there was anything that you would have done, I think it was really up to Jonathan to stop it right at the beginning, but he failed to do so. Again, I hope that it's not okay. I would envision when people in this community read that something was trying to be pushed through by zoning and planning without proper notice, people are gonna be upset. No matter what side of the fence they fall on.
By one person on zoning and planning. By one person on zoning
By
and
one
planning.
person. So,
It's long, and I went over it, Jamie and I went over it. We might wanna go over it again because
I'd
more
like-
eyes on it, because this is the resolution.
I'd like to table this until next.
Legal.
Legal
needs to see it, excuse me, sorry.
What?
Legal needs to see it as well.
Yeah.
You talking about tabling the resolution on all the amendments?
I am,
Oh, okay.
I would table that. I want time to adjust it, I'm sitting here and trying to read it for the first time, you know.
Yeah. That's your copy.
Thanks.
The only thing that I noticed from even cause the formatting, when you're going in and typing and you hit enter and it tries to give you another number.
Yeah.
Okay, so the original one that we did on Article 15, the original one that I typed up had, it was section 3, subsection 4. The amendments, it was 5. And when I was looking at the resolution that Lee had put together beforehand, it was 5 as well. It's really 6. But I don't know that.
It's 6 as it's changed in here now.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna take this and if I could read through it. Anything else, Kate? Okay.
Get out.
I didn't say that.
Yay.
Thank you. And I think, after speaking with Sheldon, I think we get a better idea what his authority is to run meetings.
Okay.
And we'll go from there.
So I will see you next Monday on this resolution stuff.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Yep.
Are they gonna be in that room tomorrow as well?
You're gonna finish up tomorrow.
That's where.
You can leave it open.
Okay.
Pat's planning on a meeting tomorrow, LEUCD, 10 o'clock.
She's been at the meeting,
Oh, she has, where to?
up to her office.
Okay. I did not get anything on that. Thank you.
Okay, so